Therapy obey. Let's be having you. Therapy obey. Let's be having you, people. Let's be having you. Shit rats, parasites, glazers. Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that. I'll come back to that, Jonathan. Big up to you, Jonathan. Love and light. Lindelof was always taking an unfair rap for our fan base. When you think about how many bad games he's had, he got bullied once. I think Sheffield United. The other than that, it's Maguire Association. No, I think he's got bullied more than that. Let's be honest. He's got bullied more than that. But lately, he's not been bullied. Shaw did very well against Brighton. Yeah, he did. He did. Hulk, big up to everybody. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We are 40 short, if I'm not mistaken. 40 subscribers short. So smash a like, people. Smash a like. Smash an absolute like. And let's go. And let's go. Let's get giddy. Let's get giddy. We got a jam-packed show for you today. Jam-packed show for you today. So many different things to talk about, people. So many things to talk about. Obviously, the anti-Glazer protest. We're going to be talking about that. But first, we're going to start the show with Lindelof and Shaw. For me, must be the starting centre halves. I should have put that halves, but the centre half, they should be the two starting. I'm going to make a case why those two should be the two guys to start for Manchester United, because I just feel as though, I'm sorry to say, but Harry Maguire brings anxiety. I think Harry Maguire is a decent player, but yeah, Manchester United want to play, and his story with Manchester United, Harry Maguire does not fit the Manchester United.
Yeah, I agree. It's over now. It's over now. Yeah, it's over now.
He brings certain level of anxiety within the fan base, which is the energy, and then that energy is transferred to the players. And you can see, for example, in the way that he's supposed to be the captain, and you got people like Anthony, like Nottingham Forest, giving him that kind of look. You know, Saeed, that body language does not lie.
Facts.
That body language does not lie. So at the end of the day, it's simple for me.
He was meant to be there yesterday. Did you see that video, by the way, of Bruno is trying to, galvanize the team or whatnot?
Yeah.
He's just there in the background.
So I expect nothing from Bruno. Like that's just normal, natural. That's not something that we need to be praising Bruno over.
No. I'm trying to contrast to you the difference of, kind of leadership. You got the leadership from Maguire, who's very, very kind of passive, and then you got the leadership of Bruno Fernandes, who at least trying to kind of do something. So man, it just shows you like where Maguire is at right now, man. But the manager doesn't speak badly of him. I just think he knows that ultimately he's not going to be good enough. But it'll be interesting to see where he is next season. Is he sold off? Is he sold from this team?
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting for us to have this conversation, Saeed, because you were actually at the game and I watched it on television. So it's actually interesting for us to have this conversation about David De Gea and how he was with those two guys. It's going to be very interesting. So hopefully Saeed's having a couple of technical issues with his internet. Neil Ashton. Saeed, if you can hear me, go out and come back. Saeed's back.
Neil Ashton, sorry.
Neil Ashton got you, mate. Neil Ashton.
He got me.
It's like how Neil Ashton got everybody after the Sevilla game. We got to discuss that side as well, because Neil Ashton was like, 15 players on the chopping block. Manchester United are selling 15 players. You're like, yeah? Like, I'm not lying to you. You know the type of scandalous news stories that he's got in his vault. He pulled that one out. That was the classic one. I get humiliated on Thursday.
Yeah.
He pulled that one out. And that one, like, he's almost throwing the baby and the bathwater together, mate. He's like, they're all going. They're all there. So.
Everyone's going. Everyone's leaving. But nah, you know what it is? It's true, man. It's true. Because at the end of the day, you got to remember, with newspaper stories, by United, everyone's on Twitter all the time. Have you noticed? So if you want to hear something now, you don't go to the newspapers anymore, do you? Like, Twitter's become the newspaper. So what you can do is get these journalists who work for these, obviously, individual newspapers and just say, you know what? right, we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. You know what I mean? And that's going to be the situation. So I think for me, it's a funny one. I'm just laughing, man. I really do. I'm laughing at the whole situation, man. I really do. Because
It-
then it's just like we lost, but then straight away you're bombarding us with that player should be sold. We already know. we already know they need to be
I
sold.
remember you know what? You got the whole squad. And even when we were not getting beat, when we were a game where we won, we were like, right, how many needs to go? It's already straight jacket podcast, like months ahead of Neil Ashton BS,
You
right?
need to watch the
Yeah, we've
podcast.
done it already. We've done this already. We're like, yeah, he stays, he goes, whatever. Big up Simmer Gunner. Big up for the super chat, bro. He says, Norin Saeed, we'll be in Manchester hopefully in July visiting. Listen, you're more than welcome to meet up,
Big up,
bro.
man.
Happy to meet for a coffee, bro. No problem.
Yeah,
Please
definitely, man. We'll take you
write
around.
some wise words for Wednesday for Arsenal. I'm scared. Listen, I think he's going to have to change the tactics. I think you can't play as open as you play. I think you're going to have to respect City, the form they're in at this moment in time. I think they're going to have to play a bit tighter. I would not play, if I'm going to play him, I'll play him in midfield, but I won't play Zinchenko on as a left winger. Sorry, as a left back. I would either play him in midfield, I would play Tini there, and I would be thinking, you know what, give them the ball. And because you've got fast players, you've got a good playmaker and two wingers who are quite quick, hit them on a counter. Jesus as well. I think you might have to play a bit more counter-attacking game. But I think you can do it. You got to believe it, you can do it. And Arsenal players have to believe they've got nothing to lose. Everybody thinks, let's start the same thing with our game. Everybody thinks City are going to walk over. Everybody thinks City are going to walk over Arsenal. So you have nothing to be scared about. It's a one hit, one chance, one opportunity. It's a free hit. It's a free hit. Man. Nobody wants you to win the league. Hit. It's a free hit. Go there and get it. Big up Khalis Ramadi Lassie. A real therapy editor, comment getter. Big him up, bro. Big up. Fred, I love my nickname, Pastor Fred, because I'm always post something about God on social media. I'm blessed. I love people giving me that nickname.
Yeah, man. Big up, man.
Big up, Fred. Big up, Fred. You know what? Yesterday, I'm not going to lie to you, that was one of the best 40 minutes he's played for.
That's what I'm saying. Ten Hag got the substitutions right, man. A lot of people said that the substitutions, they didn't get it, but I think they did. Bruno had to come off. Sancho, I think, did well. Sancho, I think, did well to close the space. That was the best Sancho defensive performance I've seen in a long time, you know. Generally, he was very, very much defensively organized. You know, he was disciplined. I think Sabitzer came in and started just to kind of close spaces down. You know, Weghorst actually was pressing for when he was
there. You know why, Saeed? Everybody was shattered. He looked quicker because everybody shattered.
No, but that's good substitution, though. It's coming in while you need him. He's just all Ten Hag told him is that just make sure.
No. 100%.
You get what I mean?
And obviously, listen, 100%. I don't know why Wan-Bissaka can't finish games. I don't know what's going on. It's a bit that we don't know why.
Because you know what it is? It's because he's an athlete, isn't it? He's an athlete, and you know what it is with athletes,
Yeah.
Big up Tom, by the way. You know what? With athletes, you've got to be careful because he could get a lot of muscular injuries, you know, and you don't want to lose him. So he's thinking to himself, you know what? One hamstring goes while because you can't stop Wan-Bissaka. And when he goes on them runs, you are going to be, you know, like Sancho won't get them niggles, if you know what I mean, because he's not explosive. Whereas Wan-Bissaka will get them niggles because he's very explosive. He very, very much is like, you know, 100 miles an hour. You can't stop him. So what he does is he says, you know what? You relax, come off the pitch. Malacia left back, Dalot right back. So I got all the substitutions. They were needed
to me, the biggest thing was Bruno on the right wing. I'm like, he's injured and you play him on the right wing. The guy's limping majority through the game and you're playing him there. Big up to Khalis Ramadi Lassie said the FA Cup final between Manchester United and Manchester City is set to be earlier kickoff time with the FA and the Met Police due to hold talks this week. The FA is understood to be keen on the final to start no later than 4:45 to help the travelling. In fact, no, 100%. That's what you were saying, Saeed. That's what you were saying. Big up, Tom. Let me just get this. A new contract extension for Aaron Wan-Bissaka is not ruled out. Crystal Palace still interested in the negotiations. If negotiations fail. Okay. And then to get this last one, it says, and he's blind. He will leave Bayern this summer. It's 100% decided the club won't extend his contract. His agents are already sounding out the market. player has several options. Wow. Would you? I think Man United need a centre half as well, 100%. I think that we're talking about centre halves now, and I want to get Saeed's point of view being at the game, and me and Tom properly watching it.
Lindelof, what a player.
Yeah. So reported Manchester attacker Jan Sommer could leave Bayern in the summer and is likely to stay. Okay. Well, I don't know.
I think he's very, very dodgy. He's a decent keeper, but he can do some dodgy stuff, man. I don't know. I think the fan base would be nervous every single game, especially you, Nuruddin, because he's very, very kind of. He thinks he can play out from the back, but it's like almost like how Melier is. I don't know if you watch Melier for Leeds.
Melier,
Yeah, he's another one that is just very, very rash and whatnot. So I don't know for me. But in terms of the Lindelof, you were
at the game. Listen, you were at the game. Obviously, you see it on the eye, innit? The eye test, right? Yeah. We watched it on television. How did you see him? And I'll come to you straight afterwards. Saeed says, Tom, because I want you to think about your answer, Tom, because I really want to understand, like, what I feel as a back four. There was no nervousness, even though Brighton were getting into dangerous situations, Saeed, on television. That's how it looked. Like, how did it feel to you? Because I don't know where you were. I couldn't tell from your match.
No, I was on the third tier on where the United fans were in it. So I was on the third tier. So, but yeah, listen, I could see the whole pitch. So you can see where the spaces is. You can see where you could analyze the distances where defenders need to be aggressive, where they get caught in behind. You can see if they're going to be like pressing too much to the point where they're leaving space in behind. But we never got exposed. I don't think there was one pass that they made in little triangles, and then after they see Dalot and Wan-Bissaka closed in straight away, or Lindelof, who actually did well. Like his recovery pace has very, really, really surprised me. He's very surprised me. His recovery pace is quite good.
I always said that he's really good on the channels. He's really good on the channels, like putting out balls. If he sees it early, he's good at it. But sometimes he can get bullied. Do you know what I mean? Turned and bullied.
Yeah, bullied. Soft. That's why I call him Lindelof.
Yeah.
That's why I call him Lindelof.
But he's really good at covering when he sees it early. But how did you see him? How did you see between him and Shaw? Because I thought Shaw looked like he's played there for years, and he actually looks better as a centre half than as a left back. But go ahead.
Commanding. I think with Lindelof, he's come across like very, very commanding now. And also, I think he's now got a responsibility to be the main one. Like he's a main kind of centre back. Before it was the main centre back was Maguire because of his price tag, right? But now he's the main centre back because he's the one that has to lead Shaw. Shaw is a left back by trade, but he's a natural centre back. So for him, he has to have responsibility, and he's enjoying the responsibility now. He's actually saying to himself, you know what? I want to do this. I want to be the one that kind of comes in across and comes in quick. I want to be the one that is aggressive, is touch tight. He's the one that's setting an example now. I think he's enjoying it. And I think he complements Lindelof well. Lindelof as well, he comes across sometimes aggressive as well in terms of, trying to come out from the back, good on the ball. They're both good on the ball. They can play the ball in between the lines. I think they complement each other well. I really do. I think they've got this calmness about them. I think they've got this kind of feeling that, they trust each other. They always know where each other are. They're always talking to each other. One thing I noticed as well yesterday, there's a lot of communication from them. So listen, do I think he should stay forever and that's a whole different conversation. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. But
in terms of listen, if Varane's not fit in the next couple of weeks, till Varane comes back, do you think those two should hold that position? Yes or no?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't want to see Maguire in there, but I do think the manager is going to get Maguire back in there. I really do.
I don't think he should. Tom,
he shouldn't, but he will. He will, man. He will because of the height, man. It's the height. Every time when there's a team where they're physical, he brings in Maguire, drops Shaw, every single time.
Saeed, but I'm not going to lie to you. Brighton had a big team. Danny Welbeck, these guys, the two centre halves, they've got quite a physically intimidating team, and they coped well with them yesterday. Yeah, Danny Welbeck missed the header, back post. I think. He saw it. He saw him scoring against United, and his heart said no. I think that's because he's been at the club since he was 10 years old, mate. He's been at Man United since he was 10 years old, from the age of 10. So I don't think his heart would let him do that anyway. But Tom, I just don't want to see. I think, right? I'm making a case for Shaw and Lindelof. I think Harry Maguire brings different type of energy. Clearly, we can see that because now the way that how De Gea has been used to playing with Varane and especially Martinez, that he can't play with him, that they don't have any confidence in each other. And I think if Man United are going to get to top 4 secured in the next 3 to 4 games, he's got to stay with those two. But go ahead.
The only thing that we can say with Harry Maguire is, and Eric Ten Hag's already said it, he doesn't see Harry Maguire as the left-sided centre-back. And unfortunately, that is what Harry Maguire has always been renowned as being, a left-sided centre-half. And he's already said to Harry Maguire himself personally, because he's already said it openly to the public, that he will never play as a left-sided centre-back for me because the passing angles don't suit him to play that way in my style of play. So for Eric Ten Hag to say that, it states, A, the player doesn't suit his style that he wants to play. So in other words, if he has other options that he can use, like to Shaw, he's going to use it. And B, it also doesn't help out Manchester United in trying to contain the ball in an opposition's half because you're already fearful because you don't have players with that recovery pace. The one thing that always gets Harry Maguire out, and the people will say, well, he's always consistent for England. You know the reason why he's always consistent for England? 2 reasons. Because he plays in the back 3 and he has Kyle Walker's recovery pace that can bail him out. That's the only difference when England tried to play a high line in any major tournaments, for any people that know. You look at Harry Maguire now in the Manchester United team, he doesn't suit the style of football. He can't play his preferred position because the manager says the passing angles are not there for him. So, in other words, he's just surplus to requirements. And he's not a leader. He's not a motivator. Anybody who's seen the clips on Twitter, man, when we were at that penalty shootout, everybody knows who the captain is. Everybody knows who the captain is. Because Harry Maguire was watching who was the captain of that team for this season anyway. He's seen it. And I think Harry Maguire knows in the background he is being pushed out of the door. Let's be honest. I think he knows that. And at the end of the day, whoever his agent is, like you just said anyway with the question, Lindelof and Shaw, right now, that is the best that you can hope for. The only thing with Luke Shaw that gets him out of the jail is he's quite bulky. He's a bulky left back. He's not one of the, he's not like a, how can I say, he's not like a Malacia. He's not you know, somebody who's a bit more frail, who relies on maybe the pace more than their quality, if that makes sense. And the thing with Shaw is, Ago being the left footer that he is, it's almost like you have Lisandro Martinez there without it being Lisandro Martinez, if that makes much sense. The passing angles suit for him to play the left-sided centre-back role a lot better than Lindelof, Maguire, anybody would. Like, it just suits. And at the end of the day with Shaw, the only thing that we can say is you have the versatility of Delo can play either-sided fullback and so can Malacia. So it can cover you in that case. But, like you already said, Nuruddin, the only problem is when you go up against a physical presenting centre forward, personally, people will always say Haaland. I don't think Haaland's the worst player that you can play against physically, because I think he relies on the spacing behind to bully you with. One of the worst players to play against for Victor Lindelof has always been someone like Mikel Antonio. Physical presence, who, he doesn't need to run at you, but he can just outmuscle you. And at the end of the day, Victor Lindelof cannot get round a player like Mikel Antonio. Luke Shaw will not be able to do the exact same thing. It's credit and precedent. But with those two players, as we've said, the passing angles suit Luke Shaw a lot better than it will do any of our other centre-halves to play left-sided centre-back. And the next best option at centre-back to play the other one is Victor Lindelof. The only problem is, if you leave Victor Lindelof in a whole ton of space, like AK said here, in a one-on-one scenario, he's not good. He's not a Wan-Bissaka. He doesn't have that last-ditch tackle and I can bail myself out. He doesn't have it. It's as simple as that. But the only thing we can say with Victor Lindelof is he can contain the ball in the opposition's half at the halfway line. Albeit he doesn't have this wild recovery pace. He does have a bit of pace. He doesn't have the wild recovery pace of some centre-halves do in the modern-day era. But he's good with his feet. He knows the passing angles. He knows the lanes. And the reason why he knows that is Portuguese style of football, if you mirror that to say how Ten Hag's playing this season, isn't too different to what he was playing when he was at Benfica. So he's been able to adapt. And when he's been brought in, we've utilised him good. But the only thing that we've said is You take one blow to those two players, and that's the big problem for us. You take the blow to Shaw or Lindelof, mate. You're partnering Harry Maguire with who? Probably Nuruddin. You might get the call, Nuruddin, mate. But listen, that's the problem that I'm saying. We don't have the numbers at this moment in time. Harry Maguire has his uses, but it's not in the starting 11, and that's the problem. And he needs to realise that you can be utilised, Harry, to shut out a game for 20, 30 minutes if we need to rest somebody. Now is not the time to be, if you want, kicking up a fuss because you can't play your preferred position and because the manager doesn't think that suits you in his style of football. Because this is Eric Ten Hag's team. It's not Harry Maguire's team. And at the end of the day, we will see when it comes to the summer. Because, listen, he's an England international. He's got all the credentials. He will get another club inside England. I think a lot of people know that. David Moyes, I think, would take him.
I think he'd be perfect for West Ham. Listen, let me just get this. Yeah, I agree with you, Tom. I agree. I do not disagree with anything you said. This is a bit of a breaking news, I think. Bruno Fernandes will be assessed by the medical staff today before a decision is made about whether or not he can train for Man United squad, Manchester United squad this week and feature against Spurs. Oh, that's a big thing. Listen, at the end of the day, I say this. I just say this, like, it's not personal for Harry Maguire. It's not personal. It's not personal at all. If it was personal, then we'll all be like, we'll still have agendas against Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Aaron Wan-Bissaka has shown that he yesterday was literally. I was so worried about that. That honestly, since 2017, his stats are unbelievable. Saeed on 101 defending. He is a specialist.
No one can pass him, man. We need next season when in the Champions League we come against Real Madrid and Mbappe, mate. They can come, man. Everyone can come. To be fair, he dealt with Mbappe, didn't he? Last time when he was in the Champions League.
Vinny Junior.
Vinicius Junior. Where you at, man? You know what I mean? Listen, we got Wan-Bissaka for you right here.
Listen, basically, he's that guy, innit? Like, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is that guy. He's out on the streets telling, I want violence. I want violence. I need violence. He's telling them all wingers globally, come at me, man. Bring it. Bring it. Like, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And then look at now the fan base. Look at the change in the fan base. Look at in all of us now. We're like, everybody's like, if anybody has to go, Diego Dalot needs to get questioned. Yeah. And everybody's talking about a new deal and everything for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Because there's one thing you can have the best PR, you can have the best gift. The best gift of the gab. But you know one way you cannot hide?
Yeah.
It's football. It's on the pitch. Yeah. You can have the best game, the best talk, all of that. You cannot hide in that space of 93 minutes, 94 minutes with injury time. You cannot hide within that game. It will bring out every deficiency. And what we saw again, like Harry Maguire, if somebody's lacking confidence, so overcompensates in the way they try to be confident. Now, if somebody was really humble and think, okay, this is what's happening, I'm having a difficult time, but obviously I'm not giving up, I'm going to fight it. But the way he comes out, it's like he is so insecure and it's there playing for everybody to see. And for me, two things tell me. David De Gea, because when he asked for the ball, David De Gea give it him. And there has been clips throughout last season and season before where David De Gea was kicking the ball out of play other than give it to Maguire. Right? There's so many games where he was like, nah, not passing to Maguire. Like, don't pass to Maguire. And then I look at Anthony. Even though it's a small thing, I look at Anthony's reaction to Maguire when that goal went in and they're celebrating. And I just think, I don't think the team, the first 11 likes you, bro. I don't think the team likes you. So
that video as well, that was quite it was quite funny, but also quite sad as to why. You know what I mean? Anthony doesn't trust him because he just thinks, you know what, I've scored you, but you're going to let us down in a little minute. You know what I mean? It's like, there's no trust from Maguire.
Probably didn't know
like I said, he's still on a contract. You know, Man United can want to sell him, but who's going to go buy him? You know, he's on big wages. He's still got to think about 2 or 3 years left on his deal.
You got to do what Chris Smalling said. Look, Chris Smalling did it. Chris Smalling was like, get me out of here.
Chris Smalling wanted to leave, though.
I actually think, I'm not going to lie to you, I actually think he'd be really good in Serie A. Honestly.
Yeah.
I actually think in the Serie A.
You got to realise, though, you've got to want to leave. Like, does Harry Maguire want to leave? Like, we
This is
want him to leave.
It's
But does he want to leave?
it's a chance of life and opportunity to go and play for one of the big teams in Italy.
Nah, especially with your family. It's like Harry Kane. He don't want to leave England. Yeah, he wants to stay in
But
India.
that's what I'm saying to you. Listen, playing career is short. Go and learn Italian. Chris Smalling done it. Why can't you do it?
But Chris Smalling's different though, man. Chris Smalling looked like he kind of like, I don't know, he looked a bit cultured. He looked a bit kind of like, he was doing this. No, but it's true though. He had his little campaigns. He had this kind of, he was doing a lot of stuff. Vegan, he had his little vegan. He wanted to kind of, see life, and he was a bit of a, I don't know. He came across a bit like
On
he wanted to see life.
the side of cultures, yeah.
Yeah, but Maguire, I don't know. Maguire, does he want to do that? Does he want to leave Manchester? Does he want to leave this?
Can you imagine him? Can you imagine him going like that? Can you imagine him telling trying to say slab it? Slab
it. Oh gosh.
Honestly, if I was advising him, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I'm advising him, I'm telling him Serie A, you can see everything's done in slow motion. The build-up is not as quick. You can go to that league and you can eat. Chris Smalling did it. You can do it, Harry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Harry. You can do it. So that's where I would go, because at the end of the day, football career is short. Kids that only go in there. You can bring the whole family. You earn enough money. You've earned enough money from Man United to bring all your friends and family over there to go and live with you. You know what I mean? You can do that. I just don't see it. When I look at Maguire, I just think you bring about certain uncertainty. Listen, I was eating these little, I don't know what they're called, but they're about that big, little small oranges, that big, like tangerine, between tangerine and oranges, that big. One of them is citrus, because I've got, like, obviously, I've been screaming and shouting. I think I'm getting a cold. I've got
you need to stop screaming and shouting. Forget the oranges.
Listen, so it was so much acidic. That's why I was like, what? People caught me in there going, like that, my facial expressions. Listen, that's how, what you saw there, me eating that little, like, that acidic orange, is how Maguire makes me feel anytime the ball goes near him. And I'm like that. I'm like that sometimes, even in the stadium. I have to watch it through my fingers. Literally, I'm like, please no. Like, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. There is no other player I've ever wished for that I wish for him to do good than Harry Maguire when he's playing for Man United. Every game I watch him, I want him to have a fantastic game. I really want to come on here, and every United fan does, to go, oh, Maguire was amazing today. All of us want to do that. This ain't personal. But what we see on the pitch is that he makes his teammates nervous. This makes him so nervous. And he's incompetent. He doesn't scan. It was a classic example on Thursday, Saeed.
He plays one way, Nordy. He plays one way. He plays one way.
He's a one-dimensional player. That's the problem.
But you know what, Thomas said? If he scanned, two players ran to him from both sides. By the way, if you look at the time the ball left the Gea's feet. Right, it looked like he had about 10-yard space. Honestly, if you put that thing around him, it's about 10 yards, right? And he would have seen inside. If he would have scanned, just looked over his left shoulder, he would have let the ball run, Saeed, and then those three players would have ran into each other, and he's off. He's bringing that ball into the field, but he's
brought the cross answer. Yeah,
he's not cultured that way. So I say this to you, Tom, like. This is the reasons why Lindelof, for me, some United fans are giddy, innit? You know how they are. For me, I don't give a damn about the games in hand. That, to me, is the biggest misnomer in football. Games in hand mean jack all. I need the points on the board. So Manchester United have got a chance to go to Spurs on Thursday to go and literally bury, like Spurs, at a top 4 competition. Get them out. Bang. See you later. So why the hell would you want to start a guy who's gone there and he's not performed that spectacularly in the past in that stadium, where you've got two guys who faced a very gifted and a very talented Brighton team, and who've got a bit of understanding now? Why would you want to break that up? Why do you want to break that up?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know what the hard's thinking is.
You got a couple of super chats now, then.
Read super chats.
Let me just get these super chats. Big up Kadeen, man. Big up Kadeen. Maguire's arrogance takes away my sympathy for him. The sympathy I have for him. 100%.
You know what it is, though? The arrogance is again, like I said to you, I don't know where he's got this from, though. That's the thing. Where's he got this arrogance from?
Saeed is because he's represented by one of the biggest biggest PR firms. You know, they run, Soccer Aid and stuff like that. There's a massive
is he?
PR agency. Yeah. Yeah, that's who runs his thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I genuinely didn't know that.
Yo, big up Aduela. Aduela says, now that I've had time to reflect on Maguire playing against Seville, Seville was more of why we lost. But Bruno not playing, he does not still confidence in David De Gea. Yeah, 100%. Listen,
Of why we lost more than yeah.
Listen, I think 100% we missed. Big up Kadeem Dixon as well. Well, I 100% Adewale believe that we missed Bruno's leadership in a hostile environment. Yes, there's games where we got whacked. Bruno's on the pitch, we got built 7. Bruno's on the pitch when we got handed our asses to us against Newcastle. To me, was worst game because they bopped us from minute 1 till the last minute. So I understand what you're saying, but he does not instill confidence in David. He does not instill anybody. When you play football, when even 5-a-side, if you got one shaky guy, it unsettles everybody. Listen, that's why when you got big players here who are really big players, big characters that are so good, they lift everybody's performance. When you've got a guy who's his confidence is like ground level, right? It's his confidence hit rock bottom, and then he's shaky. Everybody's shaky. So I'm telling you now, if you could get Wan-Bissaka, Diego Dalot,
you're right.
Lindelof, and David De Gea, if you got them to do a test, what's it called? You know those what they called a lie detector test. I'm telling you now, they would all fail because they'll be like, no, they'll all be failing.
But for me though is that I still want most of these guys sold. I think for me we've got to be careful because look at Tottenham yesterday. Tottenham yesterday they had 5 players in that squad that were part of the team that lost 5-1 in 2015. So that mentality, that fragile mentality, is still there, Nuruddin. I know we're going to praise, Lindelof, Maguire, all these players, but they're still part of big drubbings at this football club. So this mentality, the mentality of these players are still there. They're still affected. You know what I mean? And like I said to you, there's a kind of you have to balance it out. Give them credit, but let's not go too overboard because, like I said, they still need moving on. A lot of these players still need moving on. They really do. Twanzebe, another one. He needs moving on as well.
Listen, that'll be the biggest mystery for me. There's no mystery surrounding a player than surrounding Twanzebe because even if he wasn't at Man United, this guy was having a decent career. Like he was playing all right for Villa. Steven Gerrard went to Villa and was like, United, young guy. Nah, man, I hate Man United. I'm never gonna, help Man United. And by playing this guy, so he didn't play. So I think apparently some people are saying that his contract runs out in the summer, and he's done. Guys, by the way, listen, we're 40 short. Last time I checked, Saeed can check for me on his phone. But last time we checked, we're 40 short of 7,000. Let's see if we can get to 7,000. Please become part of the community. Subscribe. Listen, some of you think I might shout too much, and some people think it's passion. I don't come on here like to want to scream and shout. Man United do that to me, right? I just have too much PTSD. And Saeed is just hit the nail right on the head. To me, every player, that's why I was so disappointed for Shaw getting a contract. No, 2-year contracts. And then you're going to have to prove to play for the next contract year after year. You're not putting up your feet here. Competition. So we need that. Recruitment is absolute a must this season. We're going to come to the Glazer protest in a minute. But guys, smash a like on the video. Become part of the community. And
I'm not sure, bro. I'm not sure about this one. I don't really block people unless they've said something crazy. I don't think you've said anything crazy, so I don't know. Maybe the mods. I don't know. Someone maybe blocked you. I'll check it. I'll unblock you when I get time.
Who's that there?
Hey.
Who did he block?
No, someone. He said that he's blocked on my channel, but I'm not sure. I need to go check.
I'm not gonna lie to you, so it only blocks people when you come out with wild things. But we're both being guilty of blocking the wrong people.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing as well. Maybe I blocked the wrong person. This StreamYard can be a bit funny sometimes, man.
Exactly. But listen, honestly, it is what it is. Big up Ian Fontaine. Nuruddin's glossing over it. I'm not lying to you. I think this is a computer generator. I think it's a robot.
A robot, Can
you please say something else that doesn't say that? Because I think that's a robot that's coming after me. Neil Ashton's robot I think Neil Ashford sent you. By the way, Saeed, have you had Zayn Miassi in your channel? I'm not seeing him for ages.
I think he came in last night, you know. Zayn
Did
Miassi came in last night.
I wonder how he's feeling. Hold tight, Zayn Miassi. I hope he's well.
Yeah, man, he's all right, man. He's getting there, isn't it? He's getting there. He's talking about like he's giving them morale now. He's actually, you know, he's trying to get his team up and ready. You know, they need all the help they can get, though, man. I'll tell you that.
Honestly, they're going to need more than that. I think they're going to have to temper the way they play. They're going to have to respect City, the form they're on, especially at home this season. Especially in the last couple of months. They're going to have to come with a game plan, but I wouldn't start Zinchenko, me. If I'm going to play him, I'm not playing him in left back because he was ball watching in Southampton, mate. He was ball watching.
Midfield.
He's a liability there. You play him in midfield and play Tini as a left back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Saliba back for them. Saliba's been a massive.
No, he's not. He's out. He's out for the game and Chelsea game as well.
Yeah,
he's out for both.
He's a doubt for Chelsea, but he might make the bench of the next game.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy for him, man. I like.
You know, like people go, oh yeah, look what we've had to contend with so many injuries at Man United this season, man. And now we're playing even injured players, so it's going to be very interesting. So for you start in your lineup. And for the rest of the season, till Varane comes back, you think Luke Shaw...
Varane should be back, by the way, before the end of the season. That's good news we heard yesterday from the manager. But again, you can never trust Varane to stay fit. You know what I mean? That's just the bottom line. It's a sad situation. I think he's one again, if I'm being honest with you. After next season, you kind of need a succession plan for Varane. You need to go get some centre-backs in. Because again, if Varane is going to be the leading partnership for Martinez... And if he's not going to be there injured every time, Lindelof and Maguire, they're not really going to be good long term. You know what I mean? We can rely on Lindelof for now, but there's a you know,
a golfing quality.
I don't want to do too much. You don't want to rely on it too much. You know what I mean? You can rely on certain things. You know how you can say, you know what, I'll do this, I'll get by. I want to get by, but then I don't want to get by too much. This is only just to the end of the season. We've only got one game a week now to the end of the season, so that's should be good, should be better for this team. You know?
Yeah. Big up Alvi Chico. Alvi Chico says, Norin, you're right about Tuan Sabers was in a mystery. Mengi's injured. Mengi's become injury prone. That's what I'm saying to you. Sometimes some of these youngsters, like, their injuries just get to them, destroy their careers before they even begin. Yeah. So,
do you think they're doing the right kind of rehabilitation, though? Do you think sometimes, footballers can neglect it, man? You know what I mean? I don't know if sometimes you got to invest into your money. So whatever wages you get, are you investing it into training, facilities and whatnot, what you're doing, how your lifestyle is? It's a mixture of everything, man. It can be injuries.
Saeed, I'm not going to lie to you. If I'm any form of athlete, I'm spending any money, the wages that I'm getting, on how to be fit and available. I'm doing everything. I'm going to the end of the earth to find out. To find out what can help me, can get me in that. I'm going to every expert. I'm getting every personal trainer, every masseur. You don't understand. Guess who's done that? Who plays for Spurs? That Brazilian guy, the right back.
I know what you mean.
Emerson Royale. He's done that, Tom. He's done that for. He's done that for himself, big time. Like, he's invested so much money in him to make it. Kim J would be a brilliant, I think, replacement. I think, to me, a club like Manchester United, that's a no-brainer. He is solid, mate. He's powerful. He's powerful.
Thing, though, with those kind of players, they bring the market of the sort of Asian market, don't they? That Manchester United have lacked since the likes of Kagawa and Jason Park and these kind of players. We lack that market. Of players from that area of the world, and it is. Listen, you can look at someone like Kim Min-jae and say, the quality of player, but as a commercial side of it will help the club exposure-wise. But at the end of the day, the growth is there for Manchester United to get these players. Kim Min-jae's got €40 million contracts that you can activate this release clause for in the first 2 weeks of June. But if you don't do it fast, then you don't move fast than these players, as we know with the ownership. At this moment in time, there's still a question mark over that. Kim Min-jae, mate, listen, there's more chance of him going somewhere like a Liverpool, Chelsea, where they have an ownership in place. They know what funds they have to spend, and they can get somebody like that in the first 2 weeks. Because if he doesn't go, let's be honest, he's either going to sign a new deal or they're just going to extend the release clause. to something ridiculous, like 80 or 100 million euros, and then suddenly, I don't think Man United would be maybe as interested as they were before, just because of how the pricing goes.
100%, 100%, Tom. Somebody's saying here, Varane, Pogba, Martial, Saha, we don't have luck with Frenchmen, unfortunately. Listen, it's not that we don't have
Good point, you know. Good point.
Some of the most, Evera and Cantona. Cantona was hardly ever injured. You know what I mean?
Everyone was hardly injured as well.
You know what I
Everyone
mean?
was fit as a fiddle.
Hey, listen, big up Insane. Insane, when I was saying this, people were calling me negative. When I was saying that Mickey Mouse trophy is gonna be the doing of us. Guys, I'm gonna go to Tom first. Tom, I'm genuinely worried. Some United fans think this is all done on that. Look at our next 4 games. Brighton will want a revenge, like Newcastle did. West Ham have just picked up incredible form in the last 2-3 games, right? And then Spurs are absolutely wounded. Ryan Mason doesn't even have to do a team talk on Thursday because he's just like, hey, the fans, just come out for the fans. So they've got a massive point to prove. And then we got Villa. Good evening, he's on fire. Him and his team are on fire. So I don't know where United are getting this confidence from. And like I said, games in hand are the biggest false thing in football. It's a false argument, games in hand. Unless you've got incredible squad and team and you're guaranteed to win those games. And nothing's guaranteed. So for me, I'm still scared of this. And that's why I want Bruno back to be fit. Sorry, Adewale. I think we need Bruno in the away ground. I think we need Bruno, the form that he's been on recently. We need Bruno. We need Casemiro to step up because he's not looked the same in the since he's been back. He's not looked the same.
He's not looked the same, man. He looks a bit like he looks rusty, but he also looks like he's scared to put tackles in, man.
Yes.
Because obviously he looks like he's gonna get...
Yeah, they got to him, man. Because Saeed, that's one injustice. Then second injustice, that's gonna have a psychological effect on you.
Yeah.
But
psychologically, yeah.
Yeah,
any player, you know what I mean? You could be any player, but psychologically, it can get to you, man. And that's what he's doing right now. It's getting to him.
Big up to him yesterday, though. Big up to him yesterday because he put his hand first. Did you see that, guys? He put his hand first yesterday. He was like, me, I'll go first. Big up to him. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah.
Fair play to him, man.
No, I'm just saying with Casemiro, like, at the end of the day, the sort of leadership that he brings, and he's not been the same, but he's also rusty because he didn't play a game for nearly a month, like 30 days. He didn't play a game of professional football. Whereas all these players, they've been playing week in, week out, 2 to 3 games a week. Like, at the end of the day, he's bound to be, if you like, the weak link in sort of the midfield. He was when he first joined, wasn't he? He didn't exactly settle and climatise like that. It took him a bit of time. And then when he sort of grew into the Premier League, he re-emerged. And then suddenly he was one of the leading reasons why we got to the Carabao Cup final and ultimately won it, because the consistency that he brought and the stability that he brought to the midfield. And he, especially, I think Ten Hag has got into him and said, listen, I cannot lose you, whether it be injury or suspension, because I don't have my starting backline as it is. And I need you to cover and compensate for that backline that you can be in front of. So I need you for this game till now to the end of the season, whether it be suspension or through injury. You can't have either. So if you've got to play safe, you have to play safe. If you don't want to lunge in, sometimes maybe you don't lunge in then, because we need you for the remaining games of this season. Because he is, if you like, the glue that is almost keeping that defence as sturdy as it was. Because we know what happened last season when we didn't have that central defensive midfielder, mate. We crumbled. We absolutely crumbled last season when we had no protection in front, and all you had was Varane and Maguire. And we know how that ended for last season. But like you said anyway, with Brighton, West Ham, Spurs, the funny thing with all those 3 clubs is they all want vengeance on Man United. And the reason why is West Ham should have probably, on the performance of the basis of it, got through the FA Cup game further than us in that tie that we played. 2 late goals from Garnacho and Fred bailed us out in that tie. So you can look at it from West Ham's perspective. Brighton will obviously want revenge for what's happened with the FA Cup semi-final. Spurs, we embarrassed them at Old Trafford, did we not? We played rings around them. Ryan Mason, mate, he was sat on that coaching staff, so we saw what happened as well anyway. But the only thing that I can say with those are the, if you like, psychological games that Manchester United have to get by. They're the big 3, because those teams have points to prove. West Ham are fighting for their lives at the bottom of the table. Spurs are still fighting for top 4, albeit they don't have a manager at this moment in time. And Brighton want European football. The problem with us is our running. People will say it's not the toughest running in terms of the teams that you're playing against, but these teams have things to play for. That's the difference. Do you know something, right? The game that I am most secure about out of the remaining fixtures from now till the end of the season is, say, Chelsea. Reason why, not because Chelsea are in turmoil or anything, they just don't have anything to play for at all. They are like us from last season. We had nothing to play for those remaining 10 games. Nothing to play for. The same thing with us this season now. We have a lot to play for. We still have a cup final to look forward to, but we've still got the top 4. And like you said, Nuruddin, if you don't get the points on board, what's the point in having the games in hand? No reason at all. And we have the biggest chance because 2 of those games out of the 3 that we've just mentioned are the games in hand with Brighton. And because Brighton, listen, people say that they're not in the challenge for the top 4. If they can even get a sniff of top 4, mate, they're going to push for it. Best believe it. And at the end of the day, with Spurs, the only thing you can say with Spurs is they have a man that can score goals. That's the only thing that is leaving Spurs dangling by the thread of getting top 4. Is if Harry Kane can score 2 goals in a game, and they can shore up defensively, they normally win a game. That's the only thing with Spurs that you can say.
Right, I'm gonna ask Saeed the same question. Saeed, how confident are you on that next 4 games? One word answer.
Bricking it.
I think it depends on the manager bounce against Tottenham. It really does. I know it sounds crazy, and it's just only the assistant manager who was the assistant manager of Stellini. But if Ryan Mason says, right, you owe these fans a performance. If you want this top 4 race, you gotta go and get this. You know what I mean? So if that happens, then I think it could be a serious situation. I really do. But like I said, if it's a Tottenham team that we know it is, and the defensive naivety that they had, then it could be a big situation. So I don't know. I just think for me, we win that motivation wise. What motivation do you want? Like you go win that game, top 4 secured. Generally, I mean that. If you go win that game, top 4 secured. Because I don't think Brighton are going to catch us. Liverpool are far away from us. You just got Liverpool are not making that top 4. I've looked at the fixtures and I thought, nah, not for me. They're still out far away because Newcastle won. If Tottenham had won, they would have been sucked into it. But because they won, I mean, I think we win tomorrow. We're going to be 9 points clear with a game in hand. That means we'd have to lose 3 games. And I think, to be honest with you, I mean, we always lose 1, and then we kind of go on a little bit of a run. So I'll be confident for me if we got the win on Thursday. Then you got Aston Villa at home. We are good away at home. Then you've got, who else have you got after that? You know what I mean? Is it Wolves away? Something like that. So you've got some good fixtures, man. Yeah, it just depends on if you lose though, it's changing perspective, Lauren and Tom. If you lose against Tottenham, then I don't know what happens after that. I generally don't know. Because then every fixture becomes difficult.
Right, big up. Jarvis has got this. Saeed, I'm going to stay with you. Saeed, I'm going to stay with you. Jarvis got this, and Tom, think about it when Saeed answers this one. It's going to be very interesting. Let's see how different us 3 have different opinions.
5 sign. I'd get a keeper, centre back. I get 2 midfielders. So that's 4, and then a striker.
No, I get 2 strikers.
Yeah, I want 2 midfielders. So you don't want to keep it?
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
He just said 5. He said 5 silence.
So I'm going to be greedy. Sorry, Jarvis. I'm going to be greedy. I'm going to say 6. And yeah.
But obviously that changes everything.
Pulls the wild card.
He asked you 5 silence there. So
5 silence for me. 5. To me, I'm not giving up on my 2 midfielders. A goalkeeper, yes. A centre half, yes. 2 midfielders.
And a striker.
And a striker, but I just don't. I can't see just unless Werkos stays. Does Werkos stay? Remember we got Ahmad to come back.
Yeah.
Can he play in any of those central midfield roles as a number 10? Can he play there?
He's played the 10, yeah, of course. I think he's played false 9.
That's what he's playing. He's doing a lot. So I think for me, I think he could do that role. But again, we still need a holding midfielder
And somebody who can carry the ball. Somebody who
carry
can
the ball as well. Yeah. So we need a
Yeah.
bit of both.
Absolutely.
We need because obviously Eriksen could play in that 10 role. You know what I mean? But I think Eriksen's legs, like I said, you don't know what's going to happen with Eriksen. His injuries might catch up to him. You know what I mean? We did get him on a free transfer, so we can't act like he's just he could be relied upon. It's a free transfer. You know what I mean? So not discrediting him, but I'm just saying like don't put all your hopes on Eriksen. Like Eriksen, like you need to get midfielders in, man. Look at Man City, how many midfielders they've got. Got Calvin Phillips just relaxing on the bench. 50 million Calvin Phillips, just relaxing.
And I genuinely do think City bought him. I think there's two players that City bought was Grealish and Phillips that United didn't sign them, but it's worked out all right for them to us. Tom, I'm just gonna quickly to ask you, how many players you're getting? How many players are you getting?
Yeah.
Out of the 5, well, I would get the centre forward is the first thing that I'd go for. Like it's the big sort of miss at this moment in time. Personally, for me, the only difference I would try and cover all bases over the pitch, and I try and get a player in all the positions. And what I mean by that is, I go for the striker, I get one midfielder, and if that means that we're discounting that we might get Sabitzer in as one of the other two, so that brings 2 midfielders in as opposed to the one that I'm just signing as well. If that means that, then you've got 2 midfielders in irrespectively anyway. And I just think you need the one quality one who can, if you like, be the final piece, and Sabitzer can sit on the bench if he's happy to do so. Backline, we need. So I'm going striker, one midfielder, centre half. I think is crucial for the quality of the depth. The goalkeeper as well. And we need a long-term successor to David De Gea. But I also still think we need this right back. I really do think we need this right back. We don't have. The thing is, Delo, he's good in the final third, but the consistency is just not there. That is my problem with him in the attacking third.
Listen, he was flying. I genuinely am not worried now. Honestly, no word of a lie. I was worried. The drop off between before the World Cup started and after the World Cup to Tom, the drop off was huge. Who the hell is this guy? This guy's like a stranger. Like
the only thing for me, though, Nuruddin, the only thing for me in the right back position is, I just think there is a marquee option out there that Erik Ten Hag, I think, wants, and that is Jeremy Frimpong of Bayer Leverkusen. Just because of the way he plays, the aggressiveness, driving up the pitch with the ball. Man United, we don't have that. We have that on one side with Luke Shaw, and he's also defensively sound in certain games. The only problem is we don't bat that over on the other side, and suddenly, when you figure it out, you would have Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford. That would be a lot of people starting left-hand side for Man United. You get, say, Jeremy Frimpong, and then you get Anthony. That would be your starting right-hand side. Suddenly, you have balance on your whips.
I'm not going to lie to you, Tom. I've not watched this kid enough. I've asked people who watched him, and he's not that great.
Well, he used to be City's academy as well. So he was schooled in the same style of football. That's the only thing I'm trying to say.
Yeah, facts, no, 100%, and he could fit in perfectly to the Erik Ten Hag, and I'm happy to be wrong about that, 100%. Hold my hands up. But Saeed, I'm gonna come to you, ask you this: Has David De Gea, even in the way you were watching the penalties yesterday, I swear to God, David De Gea looked like a fan who just won a lottery ticket to play in the fight to go in net for Man United. He's got nowhere near penalties. He's not intimidating at all. He didn't go anywhere near. And for me, that proved to me is that I need a shithousery. I need a shithousery goalkeeper. I'm not going to lie to you. I get Martinez or Villa. And not honestly, because I need somebody who's intimidating when it comes to penalties.
Nah, listen, I think... But you know what it is, though? Maybe we need Romero, man. Listen, why do we keep Romero?
I know you were going to... He was good on penalties. He was superb on penalties, man.
Penalties, man. Sometimes you need a keeper who's just good at penalties. Tim Krul. Remember Tim Krul?
I guess to turn the question, would you take his counterpart yesterday, Robert Sanchez?
No.
You wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't. I think Costa's better than him.
Yeah, but I think he's better than him, but the only problem is because if you're saying 5 players, if we're still under that model, it's just the budgeting. That's the problem, because the cost of contract, release cost is like 60, 70 million euros. Like, I don't think Erik Ten Hag is going to want to spend 60 million euros on a player that might not be his first choice in goalkeeper. because we've still like the thing that I just hate about this whole De Gea, sort of saga is if he wants to stay, you have to drop your wages, David. But he's not dropping them to the figures that Manchester United are wanting. And I always say this with any player: don't bite the hand that has fed you so much for so many years. We've fed you £375,000 a week contract for 4 to 5 years. Like, just imagine, calculate that in your head, David, of how many millions you have made from Manchester United and being number one at this football club. Yes, you've given us a lot of memories for our money. We can say that, but that's all they are. They're memories.
Exactly.
So if you want to stay, then you've got to cut this contract down.
No, he's going to. No other club is going to buy David De Gea now. But listen, I like Costa. I've watched Magigan. I can't say it. Maginan. Is that Maganan? The French goalkeeper.
Maganan, yeah. He used to be at Lille, didn't he?
Yeah. AC Milan goalkeeper. I watched 3 games. I watched the league game. I watched them in the league game where they destroyed them 4-0. I watched one of the games again.
Yeah, Napoli, yeah.
And then I watched the other game. So he looks like presence, but I don't know. There's something about Costa that I just like. There's something arrogance about Costa that I like. Yeah. Like I just like he's left-footed. He can smash that ball. Like the way he plays those balls, I'm just like, I'm so sick to death of balls just going. Like
the only problem.
I'm not gonna lie to you. David De Gea reminds me of all those. Those American films when they got the drive-by shooters who just spray the bullets everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what David De Gea with his feet. Like he's spraying it everywhere without going to anywhere. And then I watch someone like Alisson. And then I watch Alisson as well. I watch them both, and I just think the way
I was just going to say that
it's difficult to get them. Maybe it's the one for me. Though.
Yeah, I was just going to say though, guys.
I think 100% is better than Costa. 100%.
He looks intimidating, doesn't he?
What do you think, guys? When we think about it though, where you just said with Alisson and such, you could throw Edison in the equation as well. When you put those two goalkeepers, when they first went to City or Liverpool with Klopp and Pep, when they went there, they looked at the goalkeepers and they said, these goalkeepers cannot play the way that we want to play. Right. And at that time in era, let's be fair in saying it, Claudio Bravo was a decent goalkeeper when he was at Manchester City in that era, in that sort of time. He was a decent goalkeeper. He wasn't world class or anything like that. He was decent. Mignolet was probably the same thing at Liverpool. He was okay. He was decent. He gave them some memories. Just like David De Gea has done, maybe for Man United. But David De Gea was more renowned because he was younger then. That's the only thing we can say. But both of those coaches that we've just said went to those big football clubs and they was ruthless. We have to admit it. They pulled out a lot of those Liverpool or Manchester City fans, in their case, their hero, their goalkeeper.
Yep.
Their one who had won a penalty shootout or they'd done some madness that had won them a trophy or had brought them some joy or memories. They pulled that player out of there and they said, nah, I need something bigger and better. And that's the only thing I'm saying is a new goalkeeper, it will hurt a lot of Manchester United fans because of what David De Gea has done. But in the long run, will you honestly care about what David De Gea has done if you're back winning league titles or you're back playing a consistent style of football where you can play out from the back? It gives a new dimension to your team.
You hit it now right on my head. At the end of the day, you think I just look at David De Gea. Listen, Alien Tenant saying that Brighton keeper didn't save a penalty. He got his hand to it though. He's got his hand to it.
He got near.
Yeah, he didn't save one though. That's the thing.
Yeah, he nearly saved one. He nearly saved one. I swear, I'm not going to lie to you. I knew the only way. I never had any confidence in David De Gea ever saving a penalty. I knew the only way that we were going to win this penalty shootout is Brighton.
They blow one off.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. We've seen it. Listen. Not more than so. Saeed loves David De Gea, but Saeed has come to a realization.
Now,
I'm done now. I used to love David De Gea, and then that guy from Sheffield United bullied him in a lockdown, and that was me done. I had enough then. Billy Sharp did what he did. Billy Sharp did what he did. Like Billy Sharp's like 5'8" or 9 or something like that, stuck a little like, and he bullied him in a corner, and I was like, that's it. That was the time, and I never went back on that. I'm grateful for all the things that he's done, all
Yeah.
over. But football is moved on now.
You have to move on. You have to move on now. It's one of them. It's happened, but you have to move on now. It's one. I think for me, you just gotta, you know what I mean, like appreciate the journey and what it's done us. But for me, overall, it's time to move on.
It's 100% tactics, Saeed. And you think Maguire is your goalkeeper, you think. You know what? You know why I say Dior Costa, Thomas Saeed? I say it because he's got a ceiling. He could get better. And he's got the stature, the size, he could get better and better.
Better and better. Yeah. 100%.
Because he's that age.
I agree.
So if we're signing for 60 million, we're signing like the guy who's going to be there for a decade, like, you know, like the Bayern Munich goalkeeper, Neuer. They signed him at that similar age, and they had him for a decade.
Yeah.
So it's one position I don't want to ever mess about with. I've got a guy, we trust in that guy, we get a number 2. Right, I'm going to throw a one in the fireworks. I go to Saeed first. Hendo coming back.
Yo, listen, after what he said, man, you see what he said? Remember what he said on TalkSport? He's too arrogant, man, for a guy who, like I said, now he's getting a lot of injuries, man. You know, I mean, he's out injured for a while now, so I don't know. He's going to return the same keeper, but listen, I think for me, he's one that probably never was going to make Old Trafford. Let's be real, man. When he had his opportunity, we've seen it in lockdown.
Yeah, he had his chances. Yeah,
he had his chance, and then he just kind of almost flapped. So I think for me, all in all,
stay in my memory. Let me just say 2 games stay in my memory. It's the Milan, the corner. He conceded from the
yeah.
I'm like, what is that? And then the Mo Salah running out. I'm like, how? You know what? When goalkeepers can't judge their distances where they are in relation to the goal, and they just run out like that, try to make a save, I'm like, what?
He's got this arrogance about him that he thinks he's better than what he is, and I'm just like,
and then Harry Maguire.
Yeah, and there you go. And you want to get.
I don't know.
The Ashton's got to him. He's gone.
The internet smashed him. Listen, it is what it is. He was in mid-flow as well. Tom, protests. Let's get into it quickly. The Glazers. I don't know what you've heard. What have you heard through the grapevine? I know that this supposed deadline is not really a deadline. It is what it is. What's going to happen? But huge protest planned. Going to be taking place at 11 p.m. apparently, meeting at Deansgate and then walking up. So they're walking for good maybe an hour to the stadium for the protest. So it's going to be a big one. I'm expecting a big one on Saturday. They're also asking the match goers to stay 18 minutes outside. 18 minutes. What do you think to that, Tom? First of all, what do you believe this deadline is real? Or do you think it's just a media-created deadline?
No, it is a real deadline because at the end of the Rain Group, they've always been consistent with this is the deadline, that's the deadline. But they've never been consistent in terms of if you come in after the deadline, we're not going to discourage your offer. If it's something that's interesting and it's a good offer, of course we're going to look at it. But there isn't any, if you like, the terms on the deadline. There's no hardness. It's not like you get it in by midnight on April the 28th, which is what's been set. Like, there isn't a hardness to it. It is as simple as you put your third offer in by the 28th of April, and then we go from there. And what I mean by that we go from there is you will probably not hear anything for a week to 2 weeks. The Glazer family, the Rain Group, will look through all the offers, and then they're going to just pluck either 1 or 2 of them out and say, that's the one that we want. Right, we'll negotiate terms for a minority sale with, for example, Carlisle, or we'll Sir Jim out and we'll negotiate a full sale takeover with Sir Jim and Ineos, whoever. Like, they'll pull somebody out and they'll say that's who we want. Or if they want, they'll pull one of each, because that's what the Glazer family will do. They'll want to have that, oh, well, we can always stay. We've got a backup option here. But with the protest, I mean, look, there's been the mass protests before, and the only thing I say with the Glazer family is, albeit with protesting, you are voicing your opinion, you're voicing what you feel, but upon still going through the stadium, you're still funding the Glazer family. And the only thing is, listen, for a lot of Manchester United fans, and I know Nuruddin's one of them himself, when these vultures eventually leave this football club, Nuruddin, mate, he will put up camp outside the megastore. He can't wait to go in there and see what's actually changed. Because Nuruddin's always refused, I'm never going to the megastore. Everybody knows with Manchester United, you buy anything at that club, whether it be a ticket, shirt, badge, whatever it is, you are funding the Glazer families and you are funding the people that are staying there. That's the only thing that we can say. But the bigger picture is, if it gets the exposure and the media, because the media are going to play the big part in this protest, if it gets the exposure that it should do by the British press, and you have the journalists who report on the protest, say wherever it's been tallied from or where they're walking, if you like a daily, like an hourly update or a 30-minute update here and there from different journalists to say where the actual march is being taken place, and you have the camera viewing of it all, that is a good thing for Manchester United, because at the end of the day, the big way that you reach the Glazer family isn't by protesting just on a street and you post on Twitter. That's not how you're going to reach the Glazer family. The way you reach the Glazer family is you get it in all the tabloid newspapers. You have it in bright bold colours on the back of the Sun newspaper. The Glazer family out, full sale, is what Man United fans demand. A big catchy title line. That's what hit the Glazer family hard. And then suddenly a lot of these sponsors, and just as a final point anyway, with the minority investors as well, who maybe will look to partnership with the Glazer family, they will look at that and think, I don't know about this. But yes, we'd be getting into bed with the Glazer family, but then we've also got to contain with what's going to happen potentially with our business, our reputation, our money as well. These people, they ain't going to look at this and think it's good, because it's not. They're going to look at it and think, oh, I don't know about this. And the protests suit two people, Sheikh Yassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, because it shows what the Manchester United fans truly want. And they can throw that to the Glazer family and say, you have got a business that a lot of people around the world, millions and maybe even billions of people around the world, do not want you running. And at the end of the day, we'll pay you well to give us it. And if they are willing to throw down the money and everything, the Glazer family will walk. They get £6 billion, or if they get near enough to it, 5.8 or something like that, they will take it and they will run for the hills, because they will never get this offer again. And all that talk about 10 billion and that, honestly, it's rubbish. They know, and any person who advises them in finance or business will know that Manchester United won't be worth £10 billion until about 2050. And that's me being, if you like, kind. Regardless of what happens to this football club, new stadium, new training ground, everything, it will never reach a valuation of £10 billion in a lot of people's generations. It just won't.
100%, 100%. So listen, that's what's happening with the protest. At the end of the day, I genuinely do think it's 2-3 days or a week later after the 28th, if somebody ups the bid, I think it's a negotiation tactic. And I think that I agree with you. The Rain Group were strict to the timeline and all of that, but the Glazers broke that. Well, when they started entertaining these different other alternatives and trying to do.
Yeah, but we knew they were going to do this.
All this housery.
Yeah, they've always played game. When it suits them,
it's going to be very, very interesting.
When it suits them, they will always jump in, won't they? That's the problem with these guys.
Yeah, Alien Tenno said Pickford. Like, no, thank you. No, but no, thank you. No, not Pickford. Not for me. Big up, Tom. I hope Tom can come back as well. But guys, big up to all of you. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And become part of the share, like, and share the stream. Let people know. People think I shout, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm not going to change for nobody. If you don't like it, you don't have to subscribe to the channel. At the end of the day, it's simple as that. I'm just passionate fan, and you get it raw, you get it real. I've been going through it with this football club and with this team specifically. I can't believe. Big up Calais Romero, last achieved at United Real Therapy. Pochettino on the brink of joining Chelsea. Oh my God. I'm sure he said he will never join Chelsea or join any of those teams. So it's really fascinating to see what's happening there. What are these reports on Manchester United keeping an eye on? Nah, mate, I don't need him at my football club. No, thank you. No, thank you. Seriously, I know there are some people that would want Neymar, but I need people who are come to be part of a squad, part of a team, not prima donnas who want to go to Carnival in Brazil every January. I don't want that. I've heard rumours that deal basically is done, signed in principle on Wednesday. Qatar won the bidding. 7.7 billion not confirmed, just rumours. Well, big up Jarvis. If they're true, then obviously you were the first one to say it on United Real Therapy. As a theraparian, a diehard theraparian. Big up to you, Jarvis. It is what it is. So for me, the biggest thing is, what can we do? What can the fans do? Well, we're going to protest. So I'll be there. Hopefully, I'll try to get some footage of the protest and we can hopefully put it on here. Let people know. So it is what it is, people. It is going to be what it is. 30th of April. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Let's get on the streets. Let the Glazers know. Full sail. That's it. Full sail. That's it. Jarvis, I was asking some people in Qatar and Dubai. Jarvis, I was asking because some people, okay, it is what it is, people. PSV had loads of money on Donnarumma and he bummed out. Yeah, last blow 60 million on Costa. Well, I just like him. I think he's got a good ceiling. He's a young goalkeeper. He's got a good ceiling. I like his attributes. He's dominant. You know the biggest thing, Alien Turn, this is how I tell from a goalkeeper for me. How you are relieving pressure, especially in the Premier League, you need to be able to handle the ball. Are you a dominant in your area? Tick. Are you good with his feet? Tick. Do you make some good saves? Tick. And can you still get better? Tick. It ticks all of those. I'm sorry, Pickford. No, thank you. But I love you very much. I hope you haven't got a sore head today. I hope your head is all right. And I hope to see you at the next game, because I've not seen you for a while. So I hope to say hello at the next game, bro. Big up to you, Alien Tenno. This is how it's a healthy way to disagree. Healthy way to disagree. Nobody. I like different opinions. Everybody having different opinions. It's going to be mad if they paid $7.3 billion. That'd be crazy. Don't apologize, bro. I have the same passion if it was my channel. It is what it is. Big up. Now, there are some people are like, oh, I don't know. I don't use shouts too much. I'm like, okay, well, it is what it is. I was talking with my Everton friend who thought Maguire might suit Everton. Nope, no problem. Who would I want out of Everton? The midfielder, Onana. Give them Maguire, we'll get Onana. It's what I've heard, but I can't claim I've known. I'm not trying to be either. I'm just telling what I've heard, but I wouldn't put too much onto it. Yeah, of course. All it is something that you've heard. That's it. Oh, listen, that's what you heard. That's all you heard. Listen, I'm going to be trying very hard to try to get a ticket for the final, 100%. 100%. I'm going to be doing everything in my power to try to get into that final. But it is what it is. It is what it is, people. Love and light, people. Take care. Win, lose, or draw. Glazers out. And if you're in the country, if you're in and around UK, why don't you come for the weekend and come to the protest? Even if you don't get into the game. Be part of one of the most historic protests against the Glazers. One of the biggest protests against the Glazers. And I don't know if all the fans are going to do it, but 1958 asking the fans to stay outside for 18 minutes. I don't know how that's going to work. It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, big up. Nuruddin. He says, say, Nuruddin, let them moan, because your rants are, I'm passionate. That's why I love your channel, bro. It is what it is. Yeah, man. Big 100%, Ariane. Bring the other, make sure you get a permission from your parents, obviously. And make sure you bring some friends with you to the protest. Of course, it'll be massive. It'll be big. It will be big. I'm at both finals. Oh, brilliant. If you got a spare ticket, man, give me, come on, sort it out, bro. Sort it out, Alien Tenno. If you get spare tickets, sort it out. Big up Alfie Chico as well. We've not seen you for a while, bro. Chipping in for Nuruddin to attend the final. Oh, big up, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Love and light. There we go. Someday I will come to Manchester and we'll meet you. You are a legend. Love, brother. Love. Big up to Alien Tenno as well. And big up to Craig Maguire as well. Craig Werby. Craig Maguire. Craig Werby. Maguire will be the 4th choice centre-back for Everton. He might. I don't know. I think he might. At least, at least he'll be injury-free. At least they always have injuries in their defence, don't they? At least he'll be injury-free. It is what it is. You know what? Khalees, you're more than welcome to come. Big up to you as well, but big up to every one of you. Honestly, it means a lot to me. I know that it means a lot to the community as well, because you're part of the community. It's not just me, it's we. It's not me, it's we as a community. So big up to everyone of you. I know that I don't hold anything back. I talk to you in an honest and open way, and I don't hide any aspect of myself. I don't try to clickbait you. I don't do any of that. Make sure you go and check out Tom Journalist 1 on Twitter, at Tom Journalist 1 on Twitter. And make sure you go and watch the Straight Jacket podcast, 227. Go and check that out. We talked about Harry Kane, the links to Harry Kane. You knew Spurs got battered, and then United are through to another final at Wembley, and then we're playing Spurs on Thursday. Of course, there had to be a story that can link Harry Kane to Man United in this winner, and all of a sudden it comes like fruit, like magic. It appears, and the story's there. So it is what it is. Apologies to I owe a big apology. Big up to you, brother. Love and light. It is what it is. Take care, people. Win, lose, or draw. Glazers out, bankers out. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, that's my Twitter, people. I know I always forget to put it on, but that's the Twitter. That guy, Red Devil, Mr. Structure. Love and light, people. Take care of yourselves. Peace, love, and light. Smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're 30 or 40 away from 7,000, which has been an incredible achievement for a channel that screams a lot and is raw and real. Sorry for being raw and real. Sorry that we're not just clickbaiting and we're not talking in a diplomatic language. No, this is a fan channel where anti-Glazer, we talk about the football structure, we talk about everything. We're passionate. That's what we are. None of it is personal, people. None of it is personal with the other hosts. None of it is personal. Peace, love, light. Take care, people. Glazers out, bankers out. Can't wait for that massive, massive protest against the Glazers. Hopefully see you on Wednesday for the or Tuesday night, maybe Tuesday night, late one, to see if we can do a show for the Spurs preview. So big up. Take care, people. Glazers out. Bankers out. Glazers out.